Well folks, there's a brand new Jurassic World Evolution 2 species pack on the way, and it's not one any of us expected. The Secret Species Pack releases in 2 days on Wednesday the 13th of March and brings with it 3 returning hybrids from the first game, Ankylodocus, Stegoceratops and Spinoraptor, as well as introducing the Spinoceratops from Camp Cretaceous Season 4. Here's the very short announcement trailer in case you missed it. Now, I'm going to save any longer thoughts and feelings on the DLC content until I've had it in my hands and seen the entire update. Until then, let's take a look at each individual species and compare them with their Evolution 1 variants. I've got some brand new screenshots to show you as well along the way, so here we go. Starting off with the big winner of this pack for sure, the Ankylodocus. First thing to note is it appears that every species in this pack, and even some out of the pack, have been given a Lux glow-in-the-dark skin, the kind of skin that really does suit their hybridized nature. But all I really want to talk about is the glow-up, pun, that this Ankylodocus has had, because oh boy is this a big improvement from the first game. Now I went back and installed Evolution 1 to grab some screenshots for this video. I want to point out Evolution 1's a nightmare to play by the way, really bad. But I think this really shows the gigantic difference between the two dinosaurs. Let's look at the body first and point out some improvements. The club tail is thicker and rounder, much like myself. It looks much more like a capable weapon now, though it's hard to see given we only have nighttime shots so far for this updated Ankylodocus. The tail is much shorter, has largely been straightened out, and that's also true for the neck, which is shorter, straighter and thicker. It's still got that diplodocid body shape and the kind of the bone layout, I suppose, but it feels like it's got more ankylosaur in there, whereas in the past, one of my big criticisms for the Ankylodocus was that it was basically a diplodocus with a stupid face and some spikes. Now it feels more like a meshing of the two together. Those spikes have been toned down as well, noticeable in particular on the front legs, but you can see that the neck ones have been brought way down as well. Of course, there's also some big texture changes and posture changes as well, and all in all the body of the new one is a vast improvement. But as much as it needed it, the body wasn't the big problem. The head was. Look at its stupid head! The basic shape has been retained with those two jutting out spikes, the eye positioning and the like, but the improvement is dramatic. The addition of a beak is really fantastic, the derpy, weird human eyes are gone, now it's only Pachyrhinosaurus that has them, and there's a lot more texture in the small osteoderm details across the cheek and brow ridge. Ankylodocus has gone from a dinosaur that was my second least favourite in my final Evolution 1 dinosaur rankings, and if I'm honest, probably harsh on Maiasaura in retrospect, probably would have come last, and it's given us something kind of beautiful instead. I think it looks pretty fantastic. It's a dinosaur I'm excited to have in my parks now, which is a dramatic contrast with what came before. Unfortunately, there's a little less to say on Stegoceratops. We've got a new look skin and of course new frontier skin patterns as well. Looks great, lots of patterning on there, a focus on the frill and the plates as you would want. I'd maybe have toned it down on the body to emphasize those frills and plates personally. In a direct comparison with the Evolution 1 variant though, you can see there's not been much in the way of morphological changes. There's again some new textures in there, with the Evolution 2 variant feeling much more real and much less plasticky. Now this feels particularly noticeable on the horns, which are now striated and varied, as opposed to those fairly rubbery ones we used to have. There also appears to be a little bit more curve in them, could be the angle, and they may be a little bit shorter than the Evolution ones, but it's hard to say for sure, again, angles and stuff like that. Now Stegoceratops didn't need some TLC the way that the Ankylodocus did, but it does suffer from the same problem in that it kind of looks like a Triceratops with big ass horns, a thagomizer, and some plates stuck on its back. The basic body shape is 100% Triceratops. Now maybe it's just because technically it's a canonical dinosaur, of course, we do see it briefly in Jurassic World, and that's why they couldn't do much with it, but I would have liked to see them try to integrate Stegosaurus into the body shape as well. One which I'm much happier to see unchanged is the Spinoraptor. My beloved is finally back. Sporting some lovely new frontier style skins, we can see those sparks of colour on the little sail, the stripes across the snout, elongated stripes falling from the sail across the body. It's beautiful, no notes. There has been one small change though, beyond the obvious texture improvements. I'm going to ignore things like posture here. It's hard to say whether that's just happenstance as to when the photo was taken, but the eyes of the new Spinoraptor are a little less intense than they used to be. I've added a pic from the daytime snap from a second ago, so you can see it's not just the trick of the light. That excessive yellow and orange coloration has been toned down for something that looks a little bit more naturalistic. Now, I didn't mind it either way. It was quite evocative and quite powerful, but it's probably a better fit for Evolution 2. And unlike with the other two returning dinosaurs, I'm really glad that Spinoraptor has finally made it over, and it's basically fully intact. This was always one of my all-time favourite dinosaurs. It's really cool to see it again. Of course, it's not just returning dinosaurs. Spinoceratops from Season 4 of Camp Cretaceous has also made it over. We first get a glimpse of its Lux variant, which is pretty spectacular, maybe the most elaborate in the entire game. There's some patterning sprouting up across the frill, but it's the sail where they've really gone to town, with basically the entire thing doused in pink and off-white light. It's very, very striking, and a big herd of these things is going to look pretty awesome at nighttime. But we also get a daytime shot. Spinoceratops gets a little bit more love. Now, your mileage with Spinoceratops is going to vary, probably depending on how much you like hybrids, how much you like Camp Cretaceous. I didn't really care about Camp Cretaceous, but I do think Frontier's Spinoceratops looks pretty cool in its own way. It's got a heft and ferocity to the design, with that gigantic nasal horn, that huge curving frill, and then that Spinosaur sail at the back. Again, I'd suggest it looks like a slightly aggressive Spinoceratops with a sail, but it's hard to mix such disparate species. I also much prefer Frontier's rendition over the Jurassic World Alive one, which is the first place we ever saw an adult Spinoceratops. The frill and head are much bulkier in the Frontier version, and the little bony details on the sail give it an added little je ne sais quoi. Of course, they're both attempting to age up this little guy. A tough thing to do, taking such a cartoony, baby dinosaur design and translating it into something that feels appropriate for Evolution 2. I think if you killed the sail on the Frontier version, you'd end up with a pretty awesome looking speculative ceratopsid. So I'd say all in all, they've done a good job bringing the design across, as well as capturing little details of the original like the red eyes or the dappled blue pattern across the body. Just the other day I was remarking how we've never really been given ceratopsids in Evolution 2 DLC. It's been a long time since we had a new ceratopsid in Jurassic World Evolution point blank, and then we got two the next week in one pack. Not really what I had in mind, but still. Finally, it looks like some of the older dinosaurs are getting updated as well. We get a glimpse of the trailer of a Lux Indoraptor with the famous stripe lit up, as well as a portion across the head and even the tips of the quills. It's a cool look, and I'm curious to see if the other hybrids, Indominus Rex and Scorpius Rex, receive the same treatment in the DLC. We'll have to wait a couple of days to find out though, when the Secret Species Pack releases just on Wednesday, just 2 days to go for full release. And that's all we know for now. If there's a free update coming, I don't know anything about it yet. Usually I do find out beforehand. I got given information about this DLC, but I didn't find out anything about a free update, which has me a little bit anxious, I'm not gonna lie. But I'm gonna wait, and by the time this video goes online, if there is a free update coming, we'll know all about it. And of course, if that information is out there and exists, I'll bring you that information right here on the channel as well. Now, I think with this pack, some people will understandably be a little bit disappointed, given two dinosaurs that they've made it across unchanged and that we've kind of paid for before. But of course there have been updates as well. They'll have a new suite of animations, frontier skins, they'll have new behaviours. I'm going to withhold a judgment until I've played with the pack and seen the free update, if there is a free update, which I'd hope is substantial, you know, given the pack itself. I'm still confused what all that aviary teasing was about as well. Anyways, we'll end it there for now. Feel free to give me some initial thoughts in the comment section down below. Are you excited to have Spinoraptor back? How about that Ankylodocus glow up? Also, Stegoceratops is there. Are you disappointed? You know, are you excited? You know, where do you lie? What's your score out of 10 on the hypometer, as it's officially known? Thanks for joining me. Throw me a like if you enjoyed the video. Be sure to come back across the week for lots of coverage of the brand new Secret Species Pack. Maybe later today, if we find out about free update. Of course, I'll bring you that as soon as possible. And that's about it. Cheers. Much love, as always. Bye-bye.